Middle School, welcome to Studio. We are going to get started on a new project this week. I'm going to show you how to make a drawing using 2-point perspective. Now, the drawing skills that we're going to learn this week really relate to some career choices that might interest you. So if you're someone who really likes design, I like dreaming up my own dream houses or thinking about a really cool tree house that I could build. I know when I was little, I used to draw lots of sketches of cool buildings and architecture. We're going to be learning about how to draw things that go back into space, and that's what perspective does. It shows us things that are closer and farther away. If you're someone who's into architecture, you know that all planning of buildings and urban spaces start as a simple sketch. They start as an idea and someone draws them, and then they become a building in real life. If you like working in nature and you enjoy plants and gardening, there are people called landscape designers who also use their drawing skills that we're going to learn this week to design landscaping for private homes, for businesses, and for city planning. Speaking of city planning, if you enjoy urban places and towns and communities, shared places, there are artists called urban planners or city planners who work together with other professionals to design places. Can you hear my cat? That's Ula. Now, if you're familiar with Indianapolis downtown, there's a place near my house called the Bottle Works Company, and it's an old Coca-Cola plant that used to be owned by IPS, and they sold it and they're developing it into a hotel and restaurants and things, and there were a bunch of artists, landscape designers, architects, urban planners, city planners, who all got together in teams and created really cool sketches and designs. They did these sketches on their computer to show all the different cool things we could do with that area of our city. So this is along the Cultural Trail on Mass Ave. Now, if you're into gaming, like some of you are, I know, there are artists who, just like an urban planner, except instead of planning real spaces, they create fantasy spaces for video games, for movies, for movie sets, and design digitally worlds that they can imagine in their minds. So using the skills that we're learning this week, we're going to learn how to create 2-point perspective. So this week our project is going to look a little bit like this. We're going to create a city scene that goes far into the distance to the left, far into the distance to the right, and the closest part is this corner. So we're going to build a city corner here, or a city block. We'll have some sidewalks and maybe you'll have room for a street. Now, the idea for this project is that this corner building here is your business. So as we're working, you might be brainstorming what kind of entrepreneur or what sort of business you want to have or own. So you're going to be creating your own place of business here, and then maybe you'll decide what sort of buildings or businesses or places that you would want on your city block. All right, so let's get started. If you're in the classroom with me, I'm going to give you a nice big piece of paper like this. So my Monday, Tuesday in-person folks are going to get a nice big piece of paper like this. If you are at home because you are a virtual learner or you are someone who I will see on Thursday, Friday in person, I need you to have 3 pieces of paper that we're going to use to make our 2-point perspective drawings. Now, to make a 2-point perspective drawing, you need space to do your points, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So you may need, if you're at home, to have your 3 pieces of paper and connect them together like this. So if you have tape, that would be amazing. If you don't, you can make it work without, but I'm going to tape these 3 pieces together. Now your artwork will actually be on your middle piece of paper. So these kind of wings out here, these separate pieces on the side, won't be a part of your final work of art, but they are going to help you make it. All right, so hopefully yours looks a little bit like this. Now, for those of you who are with me in person, the first thing we're going to do to our drawings is create what's called our horizon line. And the horizon line is the thing that is as far as the eye can see. So if we were at the beach looking out over the water or over a lake, and as far as you can see where the sun sets into the water, that's the horizon, the part that is as far as the eye can see. So it's where the land ends. horizons. Now, if you're in person with me in the classroom, I'll give you a ruler. If you're at home, find something that has a straight edge, like a book or a magazine, even an envelope or a box, anything that has a straight edge on it that you can use. We're not going to be measuring, so a ruler isn't necessarily important, but something with a straight edge is going to be really helpful. So I'm going to use my straight edge here to draw a horizon right through the middle of my paper. I don't want it to be low down here or too high. And this is going to be where if the sun set and the land was flat, almost like a body of water, this is where the sun would disappear. So I'm going to use this straight edge here to kind of trace to create a nice line going through the middle of my piece of paper. Now here's the land and this is the sky. This is dividing up my paper into land and sky. Now if you're someone who's at home and you have your string of 3 pieces of paper, you're going to do the same thing. So right through the middle of your piece of paper here, we're going to draw our horizon line nice and straight across the middle. And then we're just gonna continue it about halfway into the second piece of paper. Even though that won't become a part of our drawing, we are gonna use this space over here, okay? Now on our drawings, you're gonna create 2 points or 2 dots that are temporary. They're not permanent. We're gonna make a dot over here, and I'm gonna use that dot on the left-hand side, and here's my dot on the right-hand side. And these are gonna be called our vanishing points, okay? So I'm gonna write vanishing point. You don't have to label this. This is my vanishing point. And it's a point along the horizon where things vanish. As things get farther away in space, things get smaller and smaller and smaller. That's perspective, right? And eventually things get farther and farther and farther away that when things are close to the horizon, they disappear. So if I had a road going off into the desert here, the vanishing point is where the road would disappear. So these road lines would get smaller and smaller and smaller until you don't see them, and the road would disappear along my horizon line. So this is my horizon line, and I have 2 vanishing points, one on the left and one on the right. Now, if you are at home, you're going to create your vanishing points way out here. Not quite in the middle of your wing page, but somewhere out here. And that's going to be really helpful for you in creating your 2-point perspective drawing. Okay, it's 2-point perspective because we have 2 vanishing points. There's a different kind of perspective called 1-point perspective, and that would be if you just have 1 vanishing point here, like this road. But we're going to do 2 points, and I'm going to show you how to do your drawing as a 2-point perspective drawing. All right, so now you've created your horizon line, and you've created your 2 vanishing points, one on the left and one on the right. Watch the next video to learn how to add your first building on the corner.